Welcome everyone to this segment of Hanging Out with Temi. On Hanging Out with Temi, my name is Temi Ajayi, and I've got my good mate with me, Heidi. Hi, Heidi.
Hello. Hello, everyone. How are you all? Hope you had a lovely week and enjoying your weekend and enjoying these few wet days here in Melbourne. We've had, like a week of rain now or something.
It's good.
It's been beautiful, and then now it's raining. It's all good. It's all for a good reason. And Liz, our third, she's not here today,
Yeah.
and we pray for her, and she's gonna come and join us again next week.
Yes, we can't wait to see Liz actually. Yeah, it's painful. Today is been hectic even for me. The news I've been hearing, it's not really pleasant, but hey, God is still on the throne. So we're gonna stick it up and we're gonna believe God in spite of what? ID, the word doesn't things that are happening to everywhere,
Yeah.
hitting you, you're trying to get off from here, then it hit you again, that one, and then hit you. But the thing that I know is if you're not strong there, you can't help anything. So you
Yeah.
gotta be firm, you gotta be strong, and you gotta believe and trust in. Otherwise, even it's hitting someone that is hitting you, but you need to be strong to be there for that person too. I truly want to reach out to my friend that has just lost the sister today in Nigeria. I pray that her soul rest in perfect peace and that God should bring clarity to whatever it is that is happening, and God should give you peace, give the family peace, and my sincere condolence really to your family. And I hope that you'll be able to receive love and you'll be able to retain it once again. I know it's hard, but our heart goes really to you and every other person that has lost someone this week.
Yeah.
For going through.
Some amazing man one day told me that tough times don't last, tough people do.
That's true.
Tough
That's
people
true.
do.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I know that and I understand that, losing a beloved one or going through like a challenge or a hardship like that is beyond the words that someone can actually explain. And this is actually very painful. I've seen a lot of people suffer and have traumas from losing people around them. But it's the grace that carries us. It's the grace that actually gets us to the other side, because we are not made of this world. We are not made from this world. We are not from this world. We are gonna go to where we are from and where we originated from. And God actually didn't promise us an easy life.
No.
In fact, He promised us a hard life. And He said, in this world you will have hardships.
You have hardship. You go through the shadow of the death.
Yes.
But you go through the water and the valley, but you will not remain there. It's just an encounter. I know it's hard when things happen to people and it's fresh and it's new. It's hard thing. They don't want to hear that. But that's the truth. Because like you said, the strong people, the tough people, they will still remain. They're the one that will stand. The storm of this world will come, but you have to be strong and to be able to maintain your stamina, believing God, He will sustain you. It's the anchor. It's the only anchor that can hold anybody. I know it's hard, but it's the truth.
I know.
It's the truth.
Yeah. When I was back in my old self and I was going through a really tough time, my coach one day asked me a question. I was telling him, "Oh, you don't know what's happening in my life. I've got this happening and I've got that happening, and my ex-husband is doing this, my kids are doing that, my mom, my brothers, my this, my that." And then he listened like to a rant of like an hour or something, because I'm capable of doing that. He listened to that and he goes, "Heidi, what if all this is not happening to you, is happening for you?"
I agree.
And I went,
agree.
what?
It's true.
How?
That's
What
true.
do you mean
That's true.
happening for me?
Mhm.
And then he goes, yes, because when you actually sit and go through the challenge of each of these, you don't want to go around it. The problem is that we try to go around something
Mhm.
or on top of something
Mhm.
or under something.
Mhm.
No,
Mhm.
no. You have to go through
Good.
it.
Mhm.
And when you go through it, you are stronger and better on the other side. There is not even a question about that. And when I took responsibility for all my feelings and actions and world, I started seeing that my life is happening 100% for me.
Mm.
And whatever is happening outside in the world, it's about my perception and it's about what I want to make a meaning out of it.
Yeah.
So this is what it is. It's hard to say it at the moment, like when it's happening,
Mhm.
but when you separate yourself from the event, you are not the event. You are not the event. I am not my thoughts. I am not my feelings. I am a lot more than that. I am watching my thoughts. I am watching my feelings. I am watching the events that are happening around me, but I am liberated. I'm a soul. I'm a spirit. And this is where I'm going to go as well. So this like the world is tough sometimes, and we are made to be as tough as that. My coach told me also, when life squeezes you,
Mhm.
what you are made out of comes out.
It comes out when you're pressed down. It's true, Heidi. They said there's no testimony with no test.
That's it.
There's no testimony without a test. So if you haven't been through a lot of times, things happening for us, really, I believe that 100% because everything that is happened to me is giving me a channel to be able to evolve and do something meaningful with it. And if I've been able to be a blessing to others. If I haven't been through that, I might not have the compassion, I might not have the understanding, I might not have the empathy. So when I'm speaking from my experience, and it's the authentic thing. When my mother died in 1990, I thought I was going to die with my mom. I really actually wanted to die because there was nothing left for me truly. Because my mother was everything.
Wow.
My mother was everything. I'm telling you the truth. My mother, I think God even took my mother. This is a consolation I have, because if God has not taken my mother, I probably will take I probably take God second. I'm not kidding, and I'm telling you the truth.
I know what you mean.
I probably would have taken God second because my mother was everything. If something happened to me, I'm ringing. Even if I have a boyfriend that toasted, Mom, somebody toasted me. Mom, so mommy will laugh and say, come home, baby. You're too little. Come home and I'll laugh. She was everything.
Wow.
And God took her. And I thought I was going to die. But after that, I got married. I have children. I'm living. I'm in Paris. I'm going everywhere. I didn't die. And life goes on. So I know it's hard. I know it's tough. But it's the truth. And these two will pass. That's what I say.
Yeah.
But like I said, our heart goes to everyone that might be going through things which we know is affecting us personally, our people, our friends, our family that are going through. And whatever happened to one of them is happening to us.
Yes.
So this is us. But we still need to believe God and trust God.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. We just said we're going to say all that and banter and do this and that. But we've got a topic that we need to go through today. And we're going to go on a quick break. We're going to be bringing our guests. We're supposed to have two guest speakers, and both of them have been on the show before, but we've seen one. One is already checked in, but the other we don't know. She will be with us shortly. So we're going to go on a very quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Hanging Out with Temi. And while you are sitting down, I have to bring our friend, our guest on. Our dear friend is a dear friend to the show. There we are. How are you, Jackie? I always
I'm
like to
fine.
like
Hi,
to
everyone.
Soul.
Yeah.
Summer Soul. That's such a good name. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Hello to
Good.
everyone. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, so
We'll have you
welcome.
anytime, Jackie. You know that. We'll have you anytime. How have you been? How's your week been?
Oh, my week's been very, very busy because it's been month end. And apart from work, what I do part time, that was crunch time. So it was very busy and very successful. Yeah.
Good. Good to hear.
Lovely.
I must say I got a couple of emails and text messages. I'm like, Jackie is on the move.
Oh, yeah. I went gold. I'll tell you all about it later on, but I went gold this week, which is good.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Beautiful. Lovely.
Thanks.
Congratulations. Welcome. But Heidi, we haven't even heard much from you.
Well, yeah, so this week I started back. So I started back actually not this week, last week. And I was, I had a beautiful summer break. It wasn't really a break, but it was like, I was just like taking off some time from clients and that, but now I'm back. And during last week and this week, I actually had a client that come back. So he's had some coaching from before, and he's come back because like we had some work, like issues to work on before, but now he's coming back because he wants to have a work on having a relationship. And when he came back, he was asking me a question.
Right.
And this question actually
This is good.
This is like, this is intrigued, like in the topic for the show, I think. So this question was, Heidi, how much should I share with the person that I'm dating about my past? This is I think he's about 55, and he wants to go back to the dating game. He's never been married, and he's dated few partners, but he wants to go back to the dating game because he's ready now to date. And he was asking me, so what should I share? Like when ladies ask me, why haven't you been married? Why aren't you with a long-term partner? You haven't had someone in your life for anything longer than a year. Why? What's wrong with you? What's happening in your life and all of that? So he asked me, how much should I share? So I think that's a great question we should answer in this show today, because this is a question a lot of people actually ask, how much should I tell my partner? How much? What's okay, what's not? What is their business and what is not their business? What do you think, Temi?
It's a big question to ask. I think what's their business? I think when you're engaged or you're married or you're having meaningful relationship with someone, I think from that time you tell them everything. I think prior to that time, if they're going to trivialize it, make it like a trivial, if they're just going to treat it like garbage, if they're going to use it against you, if there's a whole lot. But then you got to know who you're dealing with to be able to share everything. You're going to know, but the question is, how long is long? Because if I can marry you for 25 years and you just throw me out like when I never existed, I will be so sorry about everything that I've told you about me, because I'll be like, why did I waste my time sharing my life with someone that treated me like this? You see, and you never know, only God knows. It's a very big question. So I'm going to pass it on to Jackie. How much did you share? Yeah, I've been thinking about it.
Look, it's all based on the level of trust you've built with that person, and trust comes with time and experience. So initially, those questions come on a first or second date. It's like small talk, And when those questions come up as small talk, you give a light answer, something that's not a lie, but something that's not too deep. And then as time goes by and they get to know you more, stories would come up, situations would come up, and you would share a story about your past. And you might find that you would be with this person 25 years. And there might be some things that you would never share because there might not be a need to share it, or the person might not be mature enough to assimilate that, you know. And we have to remember every saint has a past. So he may look at you and he forms this picture of you. This is who you are now, and this is not who you were. And sometimes it's good to let some things stay buried. If it's not a matter of public record, then yeah, there are some things that you would keep private, maybe to your grave.
Mm.
You see, I was talking to someone the other day, and he's like, you want to have something to yourself as your identity. It's not the sharing that even matters. It's just that this is your own, this is you, and you just want to make a meaning of it to yourself, you know. But the thing is, I kept on saying, is why you are in a relationship, I think you can tell everything. Now you've just hit it on the head, because sometimes people are not matured enough, and sometimes people can complicate the thing even, or misinterpret it, you know, misinterpret and twist it. You know, I hate people twisting
Yes.
my point.
Yes.
And sometimes you want to harness it and you're stressing, you are now trying to explain it. No, that's not what I meant. The more you argue, the more you explain it, the more they think you're lying. You know, so people are going to make meaning of what they're going to make meaning of anyway, I think. You know, so it doesn't matter how much you share. And like you said, if there's no need for it, if there's no situational thing to warrant it, why do you share? You know, why do you share?
Yeah.
Because I think the younger one these days, they tend to share everything, you know. They just say everything, especially about their family. So forget about you now. You know, I'm not saying let me come back to this. Let me rephrase this. I'm not saying like you have a child out of wedlock, you don't tell your partner. And that happened, you know. So I don't know why people will hide that. Is that something that you can hide? But I've seen people hide this for like 30 years. Children out of wedlock for 20 years, and they never told their partner. How silly is that? You know, why would you do that? You're not recognizing the
Because
actual
it's a matter of public record. It's a matter of public record. So you might.
But people do this. A lot of people do this.
Yes.
You know,
If it's like I said, if it's a matter of public record, it makes no sense hiding it because they're going to find out.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So you agree that for me, I'm thinking if it's not necessary, everything prior, you don't need to share, but everything while you're there, you can share. You agree with me?
Yes. Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
And the other thing that I actually want to emphasize on is that, you know, I can tell people stories about me, but why do I have to talk about my family? You know, why do I need to talk about my mom and dad? They're divorced. Yeah. You know, I'm not going to talk about my, you know, like my cousin or auntie or, you know, someone that went to jail or someone that, you know, was under drugs and stuff. What, they have nothing got to do with that. You know, the thing is as well, Temi, that actually sometimes, you know, gives me a lot of, you know, insight when I'm speaking to someone. When someone tells me, or like when I'm having a conversation and they say, you know, I remember you from when you were working in this place, because I used to work as a drug rep in GSK. So I used to like go
in
to
Sydney.
You know, here as well in Melbourne. So someone says to me the other day, he goes, I remember you when you were working in GSK and you were such an arrogant bitch.
What?
And he said that you were such an arrogant bitch. And yes, amen to that. I was.
That was your past.
And I was, you see, I was that person. So and then he goes, what happened to you now?
Found Jesus.
And I said, you know, well, I think I grew up. And then, you know, we started laughing and we started talking. But the thing is, people change. Even if I was this arrogant bitch, I have changed. You know, who cares about me, you know, yesterday when me today is a new beginning? When me today is someone else. When I choose me to be, you know, the champion of today. So people change and people grow and people have insights and people find God sometimes and people are connected more to their spirits or to the other way, whatever it is. People are not the same people from yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
They change.
So they change. So I don't like it when people, you know, make judgment about someone just because they once upon a time they were this person.
I've got a question, which is true. All things are passed away. Behold, all things are now new. So see me in my new. And if there's a need to tell you what it is, I'll tell you. But I want to go back to the fact that, are we talking about just the girls or are we talking about the boys as well?
Everyone.
Because a lot of time, the expectation is that the women should talk more or they should talk about themselves. Don't the men have past? We're going to go on a short break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about, do men have and do they share? 1 second, be right back. Welcome back. So the question is, do men share their stories as well? Or is it just the ladies that share? Because I reckon a lot of times is the expectation was the women to tell us they got the past, what happened in their mother, or the boys looking at your parents' story, which we used to do before we became a born again. We always judge people. Is that person from, you know, Nigeria? Oh no, don't marry them. They're all this and that. Do people, you know, it's only the girls that we look at their background and look at their story and we expect you to tell, you know, mom and dad are in love and they never separated, all this story. Do the boys share this? That's the question.
What do you think, Jackie?
I think it's an expectation, just like he wants to know about you, you want to know about him. In the Caribbean, or you know, the area where I grew up, it's, yes, we look at your family, but we excuse you if the family is not so perfect. We excuse you, but we look at you and we look at what you've been doing with your life. And the woman looks at the man and she examines him and he does the same for her. So it's the same.
That's right. So
do we believe them though? Because, you know, men, you know, they like ladies like to go into details and talk about, oh, this happened, and then I was wearing this dress and I was, you know, doing this thing, and but then men go, well, this happened, like an issue or something, a big picture, and then they never go into detail. And go, tell me more, and then they don't want to share. So you know, do we expect men to actually share to the details that we need them to share? You know, like, do you think that women and men are different in that sense?
Okay, well, I think, what was his name? Dr. Gundar, I think was his name. There's a series out about men and women and man-woman relationships, and it's done by a pastor. He's a priest, and he helped me to understand that women are really from Venus and men are really from Mars, and the way our brains operate, I mean, he puts it so well. It's so extremely different that we go into details, men don't, and I've learned that we don't necessarily need to expect that from them. It will save us a lot of grief if we don't expect that. But if we have a question, we can ask it. But if we don't expect them to go from A to Z in chronological order, it won't happen, and we'll be disappointed if we expect it. But over time, we can get bits and pieces of the story and we can put it together. And yes, men do lie, but women lie also. You know, women don't tell the truth. More women tell the truth, but both sides do the lying. You know, you can't put all the blame on one side.
Yeah, that's right. So, Jackie, what do you think about when now there is already a partnership? Now they're together now. So forget the past. We're gonna start over again. Now we're together, and then how much should each partner actually share about what is happening right now in the life as it's happening? Like, for example, if one partner or one person is helping the family overseas and they're sending them money, and they're looking after this or after that, and they have to look after the sick mother or the sick father or something like that. But then how much do we bring on the table of the relationship when we are actually doing things that only matter to us because it's important to us?
I think that's the second part of the topic.
Yes.
So the second part of the topic is a common cause.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's is a common account.
Okay, apart from the money, just to answer that first part, I do think that once you get together, then what's happening, there must be full disclosure, because whatever is happening, whatever you're involved in, it affects you. And you are the person that you're bringing home in the evening, bringing to bed at night, bringing to the meal table. So whatever it is that's happening, if your partner doesn't know or is not involved in it, then they're at a disadvantage and you're harming the relationship. So for me, when you're in a relationship, it really needs to be full disclosure so that both of you are always on the same page. Now, coming to the purse, look, this is a topic, I guess, that's near and dear to my heart, because one of the fastest growing groups heading towards poverty is middle-aged single women. And that is because in their youth, there's so much trusting and so much giving that one day when things don't work out, which we don't plan, it just happens, they wind up with nothing. And there is no structure in place to support them or to keep them. So there are so many middle-aged single women now without a home. Got to live by family, got to take abuse, got to take. So sometimes I say, look, as a good Girl Scout, be prepared. Put something aside for a rainy day. If it turns out that he's a nice guy to the very end, then there's a plus to that. You've got a nest egg. But if it turns out that he cleans the bank account and goes with a younger version, you need something to fall back on, So I think that there should always be a bit of separation with the purse. I think young couples can come together and say, okay, how much does the house need? How much does the vacation need? How much does the car need? How much does the, day-to-day living expenses need, or savings? And they say, okay, I'm going to put X amount and you put X amount. And then if they want to help their family back home with the rest or whatever, that's up to them, So they honor their present commitments, and then they can do the other extracurricular stuff or extra hard stuff that they want to do, and nobody suffers. But the spouse knows that they're doing it. It's not a secret.
Wow, that is fantastic. And that's the truth. The middle-aged single mothers, they're going through a lot. And I've seen I even heard one that said she has never been on holiday for like 15 years. They can afford to go. And these are people that have been building things together. They had a lot in the past that they were building a successful business together, and everything went pear-shaped. Even though they said women take this, women take that, a lot of time they suffer the most. And you're right, when I believe in full disclosure. And I think the essence of this show today is actually to shine light into these sort of things, because we see that most of the things are issues that relate, it's that we have in relationship. It's money all over the world. It's known to be money. Why? I don't know. Knowing fully well that we're in this world and it's a journey. It's not our home. So wherever you're building a castle, you're building whatever, one day you're going to leave everything and go with nothing. So this is sheer ignorance that people don't get. And I'm very confident with what I'm talking about. So when you have huge amount of money and you're hiding it, I've seen a whole lot of people like this. They passed away and their children don't even know where things are. I say, if you don't love the mother, at least you will love your children. They're your blood. Rather than entrusting your money with your friend, I think it's just a dumb thing to do. Very dumb. This is your children that will carry your legacy, will carry your name, carry you further than yourself. And so you're hiding because you hate their mother or because of something sheer silly. And I say to you, depends on who you are doing your show with, who you are doing your journey with. If they're greedy with money, you got to be able to, it's not a matter of your fighting. It's not a fight. Everybody is just being mindful of how they're managing their affairs. We can still love ourselves and still love God and be holier than thou and still be wise with the way I'm not saying, to be at the detriment of the home. There was a case in Nigeria recently that this woman in the family is being giving. The husband does whatever he likes with his money. And this case has been on for a while. But this time their child was sick. And the mother said, I'm not going to contribute anything this time. This is our child, our son. You need to put some money down at the hospital. And the man said, I don't have money, because he believes the wife had more money. Guess what? The son died. They lost their son in the midst of arguing who is going to pay, who is not going to pay. Imagine that. Imagine that. I've seen a whole lot of this stuff, I can't blame anybody. Sometimes I see people will say, I'm buying this, I want to send this dress to my mother. My husband must not know. I will hide it and I'll post it tomorrow. One of my friends even told me this. She'll buy something like dresses because the husband doesn't want her to buy anything. So she'll buy something and give it to Heidi and say, Heidi, can you bring it to my house tomorrow and present it to me as if you gave me? Oh. What a life this is.
Oh my goodness. It's a whole ordeal just to
and the thing the thing about that is sometimes that is a reality. And that is unfortunate, but she has found a way to survive in that relationship. It's like some men don't want you to spend on yourself, like you're saying, and she sees a pair of shoes and she has to find a way to get those pair of shoes that keeps her happy, and she's happy enough to stay in the relationship because other things might be working. So sometimes the partner is not perfect, but we have to find our way in there to keep ourselves happy. If of course we can't be happy at all, well then that's a whole other matter. But if you see where it's working in many areas and a little bit crazy, you find ways to work around him, This is how we survive, yes.
We survive. So we say the common cause cannot be absolute.
Yes, I agree.
No, because if the common purse could have been absolute, there would be no divorce. We just never know what the future holds. So you're
True.
putting all your money into this common purse. And like I say, it goes both ways. Because I know of a situation where the man lived with the woman for 16 years. They never married, but they had 2 kids. And she had one before. And he brought his entire pay packet and gave to her every time he got paid. And they were living in her house. And they renovated her house in front and behind and so and so, so and so. And she got cancer. And on her deathbed, she willed away everything to all her family, not even to the kids that were his. She so wanted to keep money out of his hands. You see? So it goes both ways. I know of a guy, he got married. This was his second wife, and he joined the account. And she cleaned. One day he got home and the account was clean. The house was clean. She backed up a truck. She took everything. Now she tries to be his friend again. How can he? How can he even trust a woman again? So it goes both ways. So to prevent all of that, you have yours, I have mine. Let's decide on the percentage we're going to put in the pool. And that's it, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think it works much better for both parties because you know, you never know. But what happens if, for example, that, you know, I'm getting with a person who is, you know, who is a lot richer than I am. So, and I'm not, you know, as rich as him. Do we, I know that there is something that you can sign, like it's called the pre-something.
Prenuptial.
Yeah, that one.
Prenuptial. Prenuptial.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a new thing.
The prenuptial is in the event of a no, it's age old, the prenuptials. But the thing is, in terms of, there's always going to be differences in how much he earns and how much you earn. The thing is, when you put it together, suppose he earns 500 and you earn 100, and the cost of running the home and everything is, say, 700. Then you put a percentage. He puts a percentage. He will always put more because he earns more. So you all decide that at the start as well.
And that's a very
about a dollar amount.
Yeah.
That's a very good question, because I have my what do you say? My own view about prenuptial. But let us go on quick break and we'll be right back. Stay there. Ask us a question. I think somebody is going to ask a particular question, but they have not asked. They're just watching. If you're watching, you want to ask a question, you can ask a direct question and we'll be sure to answer you. Trust me. We'll go on a break and we'll be right back. All right. Thank you so much for coming back on the topic. The topic we're talking is how much do you share in relationships, and do you keep a common purse with your partner or your better half, or Lola called it something before. We are significant other. Significant other. If you do that, but we're talking about prenuptial, and I think some people are giving a comment. Let's see what the comment that is coming in. Hi, that's this one saying, hi, miss you, Heidi, looking great. Tell me, amazing in black color on you. Well, we were having issues with this black before. I'm glad you said that, because Heidi was like, change it. There you go, Heidi.
Yeah, I said, don't wear black.
Don't wear black, she said. So thank you, Nemi. Another question is come through. Let's see what I say. Some people get cash out to save money from them. Family back home.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen that happen.
So they get cash out?
Yes. So people, so for example, you know, they hide the cash and then they send it back home to their families, but they hide the cash from the husband. So, you know, let's say that you're working with the, you know, like some cash in hand or something like that. And if the husband is giving some money,
Yeah.
so they use, for example, they give 100, they use 80, but then you keep 20. And then
dear.
yeah, so some people do that because the other person maybe doesn't understand, Temi. Because you have to account for someone that doesn't understand, doesn't have the same values like you. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's just unfortunate that we got married, we're together, but then during the time that we're together, we're not growing together. We're growing apart. What do? Do you end the relationship because of that? Or do you have to, like, work something out?
Wow. Cash out. I don't know about cash out.
And
Really? I don't know about that.
That's what I was saying before, that sometimes if it's one thing that's going wrong, you work around it. So if you have the pool of money coming in, and it's not going to be a problem, I think that yes, if there's no disclosure, there is a budding mistrust. There is budding damage in the relationship. But it is because this person doesn't understand that you need to support back home. You feel that need to support back home. And to be very honest, those are the things that we have learned we need to discuss in advance. And if it's going to be an issue before you get married, that's where you have to decide, is this the mate for me? Do I want to be linked to this person and then have to be hiding to send money back home? Is this the right person for me?
I know.
So
it's good.
This is some of the hard conversations to get married.
Jackie, it's good. I don't know. Really grateful. I'm really grateful to God that we're doing this show, because this show is teaching us, and I believe when you talk, when we discuss, then people will get insight into that discussion. Like you're saying now that we have to talk about this in advance. I don't know about a lot of people, but in my time, almost all of us, I can almost generalize, we never ask questions. We just fall in love. That's it. Here we go.
Me too.
We never ask questions.
But
and these days and age, they smarter. They're asking questions. So some people are going into second relationship now. They're smarter. They know what the right question to ask. And if you're for me, you will stay. But anyway, there's a question on the screen. It says, are there any situations that we should maintain separate cash purses as a couple? I'll say yes. I'll say yes. Okay, Jackie.
Yes. And I was thinking about it before, and we just didn't get around to it. Some people are just not good with money. Some people, once they have money in their hand, they must spend it. That goes for men and women. My first husband, he couldn't hold money in his hand at all. He liked expensive stuff we couldn't afford, and he would burst the budget to buy it. So I had to keep my money separate to make sure that the bills got paid. Otherwise, we would have been in dire straits. And my second husband, he just couldn't keep money in his hands at all. Once the money was in his pocket, it had to get spent. He was supposed to put a lot of money in the bank, and instead of putting it in the credit union, I didn't know, he put it in the bank, and he spent $120,000 to this day. We don't know what he did with it. You see? So sometimes it's the person not going anywhere. The marriage is going along nicely, but you still have to safeguard that purse. Otherwise, you'd end up without a house. So it depends on the person. Yeah, it depends on the person, really.
100%. It depends on the person. If you have somebody that respects you, you have the same values, then you're confident with, and the person is open as well to you. Because sometimes it could be the husband that is handing more money, like you said, Heidi, or it could be the wife. But mostly, I'm not trying to be a sexist here, but I know that women are always very, very prudent. That's why even in the olden days, you give women $1 to go to the market, they will always get 20 cents change. They put it in their breast like this, they hide it there, and they be thinking maybe my child. Women are always very prudent. And also, I'm saying this, with full respect. Sometimes men buy something like a $500 shoe, $1,000 suit. I don't know. And then the woman will always go to Myers when it's in 50% discount, when they're selling for $30. So we might have 5 that looks good, but they're all not even equivalent to one shoe that you bought. And we don't query that. This is when you're doing common purse, you don't query that. The other thing that I know that sometimes the men could do, I mean, like African men, they could say that I want to go, they could gamble. Good. They could gamble with your money, with the family money. Some people can just say, I want to go and build my father's house because they have more money. Whoever has more money might just gamble with the money, even in terms of, I want to build my mother's house because I have the money. Look, especially in this country, Australia, if you're married, the best thing is to be open to each other. But if you want to gamble with the money, you want to go and build your own father's house, what if your wife or your partner wants to go and build their own father's house too? Do you have enough money to sustain this? No.
Yeah.
But because you have, like you said before, Heidi, you might even be earning $500. The woman might be earning $100. Okay, the $100 that the woman is using that $100 to look after the whole home. The woman might need even $1,000 to maintain the home, but she's using the $100 and she's working in home. If you have to pay the woman for working at home, your $500 is not even enough to pay the amount of work that the woman is doing. So what I'm saying is, if you are in a relationship, you're both probably even earning the same. Forget about 500, 100. It's almost the same, because if the woman needs to go to work and not doing the cleaning and doing whatever, taking the school run back and forth and everything, logistics at home, if she's going to work, she probably will earn more money than the husband. Because I'm saying this from the example of the people that I'm working with currently. I have a couple I'm working with currently. The husband is earning more money. The wife is not, because she's doing all this. And the wife now said, well, if you think you're having more money, that's why you're spending money to your family back home anyhow. I want to go to work as well. See how much your money is going to do. The money you think you have is not going to do even our gardener. By the time the gardener come and do the garden, you don't have any money left. So we need to respect wider financial, emotional, whatever sacrifice anybody is contributing in a home. You can quantify it and put money value on it. Do you know what I mean?
Better than that, I think too that there should be a system in place for mandatory super for housewives. You see, that's just my thoughts. You know?
I love that. Because homemaking is the hardest work. I kept on saying it. I don't want to stay home. When I'm staying home, I don't even rest from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night. I don't sit down. There's always something. Go to the garden, so I would rather go out and make money. If I do nursing, I know how much I'm going to earn in a day. Multiply that by 5 days a week. A lot of money. But if I'm leaving that, I'm doing housework just because we want to keep the home good. You bring in visitors to come to your home to see your house. Show off. If we are not cleaning that house, you can't bring a rat to come to the house. Yeah. So it's a whole lot of money. But I want to go back to that prenuptial thing. Yes. That Heidi, or you mentioned it, yeah? Mm. Prenuptial, I think if you are starting a relationship with that, there's already a problem, isn't it? And I know we said we should talk about our do's and don'ts and our values. We should share it in advance. But when we're now signing something, are we anticipating that this is going to hit the rock? That's why I don't get that bit.
I think.
Okay, you want me? My view?
I think.
Go ahead, Heidi.
Yeah,
Heidi, so, go ahead.
Look, I have to be like, I'll take myself, like, I'm not going to imagine myself in a situation. Obviously, I'm going to take myself out and I'm going to imagine that I'm talking to a client.
Yeah.
Let's say my client is let's say my client is 70 years old, because this is a case, okay, that I have seen,
Mhm.
but he wasn't a client of mine, but this is someone I know, like a real person. He
Mhm.
was 70 years old,
Mhm.
okay, he was a doctor, and he was he was married before his wife passed away. He had, you know, kids from his first marriage, but then now he's having a relationship with a 25-year-old girl. They're getting married. He's 70 and he is a doctor.
Okay, now.
Okay, he's 70 and he's a doctor. Obviously, that means a lot of money. And she
Is it? My
Well-
doctor friend, a lot of money.
Well, this
I like that.
one did, because I know him personally,
Right.
and now
Okay.
he's getting with this girl who is a high school dropout.
Wow.
Okay, and she only worked in McDonald's, and she works in McDonald's, and she works like in different family restaurants like that, and that's all. So she doesn't have any assets, no properties, no stable income. And he is getting married to this girl. He's got 11 investment properties, and he's got the house that he's living in. Well, if he comes to me, he never did, but I'm just saying for argument's sake, if he comes to me and tells me, Heidi, I'm getting married to this girl, what do you think as a coach I'm going to advise him?
That's a different case.
Why is that a different case?
That's a totally different case, Isaac. Then you can do prenuptial, because this guy, God forbid, maybe in 30 years, 20 years, is gone. Does he have a family, children?
He's got children.
No.
He's got children.
Prenuptial, baby, because
Yes.
yeah,
See?
that makes
See?
sense.
So this is what I'm going to say, Temi. The
Yes.
rule is no rule. We cannot have rules around these things, because each case is different from the other. And every time we try to assess the situation, it's going to be different altogether. Different circumstances, different people, all different. So
But children, if my son is marrying to a girl and she's saying, let's do prenuptial, I think I'm going to be thinking, this girl wants to leave you, because where is for better, for worse? Where did you leave that? I mean, I'm being sectional here. If every other man is bad, my son is good, my husband is good. But in fairness, I think I do think about it.
Yes, I am thinking about it. And you know what? Sometimes this is what the thing is. I always end up at the same place. I can't put a rule. I can't say this is going to work in all situations, because
Sure.
Nothing works in all situations. Every case is different. Every person is different. And the circumstances around the same person can change to be different along the line of his, timeline or their timeline. So this is why I'm saying, like that agreement in place in that case for that doctor.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
It
in
makes
fairness.
sense. You
Yeah.
know, she's 25, he's 70.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I want to see his will. Where am I, baby, in
Yeah,
your
I
will?
know,
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. But
The
also,
thing is,
you got
prenuptial is it saves everybody. Prenuptial saves everybody. It's safeguard for everybody, because it's exactly what it says. It is whatever you whatever you earned before the marriage. If you decide to dissolve the marriage, you take it with you. And really, what's wrong with that? Because whatever you build together in the marriage is communal. So the prenuptial really should have no bearing on anything. If you like this person and they say sign a prenuptial, sign it, but of course they say if you sign a prenuptial and you're getting a divorce, you get nothing. But no, you can amend that to say whatever you build together, you get that, you get part of that, and not part of what was before.
I think only
Because let's take simple people, common people now, right?
Exactly.
Common people now. Suppose you, Temi, you've built your house, yes, and it's a, you're not rich, and then someone comes up to you and says, hey, I like you, you know, you're gonna be careful because
Love me for my house.
love through trust. You see, so we have to be careful. So, sign that prenup and come on, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Somebody is just, I think Debbie is just say something. I think if there's love and trust, prenuptial is of no consequence. This is my humble opinion there. It's true.
Yeah, let's have no
for
consequence.
us,
Yeah.
for
Let's have
us,
no consequence. Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I agree. That's what I said. It is of no consequence. I will sign it because I have no intention of going, and I have no intention of fleecing you your money. So yeah, I will sign it. It's of no consequence. It should not take up that big, but it is showing you that I'm not marrying you for your money.
Good.
See? So
Okay. All right. I get it now. You know, this is an awareness and understanding that I'm getting here as well. Prenuptial. Because if my son says this guy want to do prenup, I'm like, what? For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer. So my local sense will be telling me this, but I like to get an
that's during
insight. So
the marriage, prenuptial shouldn't affect that.
it should not have any hold or any consequential effect on the relationship. All right, then. So the issue I was talking about is I think we need to know who we're in business with and to know that we trust ourselves. And I know trust is underrated because I know somebody will be talking to me and I said, trust, I trusted mine for so long, and what happened to me now? It's true. Yeah. It's really, underrated or overrated, whatever you want to look at it. But I just believe that a woman and a man should be able to operate without a pressure. Have a common purse where we put our money for the home, where it goes, and then have, every individual person should have their own cup of tea with Heidi, and I'm saying, hold on a minute, let me get some money from my husband, 10 cents, that honey, or 20 cents, And the other thing I believe is nobody has any more money than the other. Okay, we're equal contribution in the family, and that's the truth. Because if you marry somebody, the person is, even if the person is working in McDonald's, whatever is brought, that is her capacity. That's what she's got. And so if you have opportunity, and this is just all about opportunity to get more money is an opportunity. But when we come together, we're one. And so we have responsibility to our mortgage, to our children, to whatever. I mark that aside. And then whatever we have, every individual should still be able to live as human independently. I strongly believe that. So there's no need you're hiding this from this person, you're hiding that from that person. A lot of times why people hide, like I said, is because either the wife or the husband is spending money. Whoever thinks they have more money, you're just spending money. Anyhow, I buy house, I'm going to buy house for my auntie. I'm buying house for my uncle. Anybody can do. If you're buying house for your uncle and your auntie, then your wife or your husband, your partner, needs to be able to buy a house for their auntie if they so wish to. That's the thing. But if either party sees that you're just spending money anyhow, you think you earn more money and you spend, they too will be hiding their money. And, they'll be doing things behind your back. All these things is possible when you respect one another, honor one another in relationship, and know that we're equally contributing to relationship, especially when you have kids or you have a dog, whatever it is you have, and this person is looking after it. That is something. If you're coming home and there's a glass of water for you, that's a lot of work, whoever is doing it. And the women, I want to say most times is the women, because in my culture, men don't stay home. It's the woman that stay home. When you have 2-3 children, women want to stay home, make sure their children go to school, make sure they eat well, the husband eat well, the laundry is good, our wardrobe doesn't stink. This is what the women do. They build the home. So if you have money, you don't have home, of course you're nothing. So if they're building home for you, they're building everything. So don't think you're a doctor and you have more money because your wife is staying home. That's, for me, is stupid. And if you behave like that, then the woman, what they're going to do is dust their certificate and go. But most of the times we don't want to do that because we want to make sure our children. Today, we were on the street and Heidi was asking her 16-year-old, do you know the way to come to me? Do you know, we're panicked, she's 16, she knows, but we're still worried if she doesn't. So this is what the women do. Make sure we build a good home for you. And so everybody's got their certificate. They could do whatever anybody is doing. But when one person is, what do you say, is the one that is holding the fort, and you think you're a doctor, you're earning more money, that's stupid, because that woman can be a doctor as well and earn equal money as you. If you continue to do that, that's why we're doing this hide and seek. The other thing I want to mention is if you're just building a home, new couple, you're hiding money, you're just delaying your progress in life. Because in this country, a lot of times, even if your wife is working in McDonald's, they still want to see her pay slips. They still want to know his combined income. They still want to know, because the bigger your money, the bigger your commitment. So if you're earning 500, you want to buy a house of 1 million. If you're, you know what I mean? So the more you go, and then the bank wants to say, do you have dependent? Do you have a wife? How much does it earn? In case your own work fails, in case you have injury on your job, can somebody else sustain this home? So they still need your wife to do it. But if your wife or your husband is hiding the money, then it's going to delay your progress. It's a proven thing, so you can't get to wherever you want to get to on time because both of you are hiding money and siphoning and gambling with your money. So I think to talk on this matter is very, very important.
Yes, of course. I think the conversations that happen before the marriage or the partnership to start and, commitment, I think these conversations have to be done with transparency, honesty, and a lot of wisdom. Wisdom has to come to the party, because if there is no wisdom, it's like, I have seen a lot of immature conversations, and I see a lot of people saying the wrong things and they don't even mean it, just because that they're not really thinking about what they're saying. They're not very wise. Sometimes people, they don't even know what they want, and they don't even know what they want. Like this client that I was talking about, I told him, so what would you like in a relationship?
Oh yeah.
And I said, write me something, like, just bullet points. What would you like in a relationship? And then he was going, oh, well, I want to, like, I'm 55, so I might as well have a relationship now, because I don't know what's going to happen to me when I'm 60 or 70. And I'm going, no. What do you want in a relationship? And then he's like telling me about what he thinks about the stuff that's going to happen to him 20 years later. No, in a relationship. So people, I think they need to focus on what they want, not what they don't want to happen. So tell me about what you want. Tell me about how we can actually bring this on the table. How can we manifest it? It's never going to happen when you're thinking of, I'm afraid of this, I'm scared of that, or I'm worried about this. Well, no, whatever you're worried about is going to happen. This is the news now. But tell me about what you want. So talk about things. Bring wisdom. Bring compassion. Bring love. And bring understanding. Because we all have our faults. We all have our mistakes. We all have our own insecurities. And this is something, we all come to relationships with insecurities. We all do,
but we don't know what it is.
Yeah,
we don't know it's insecurity, Heidi. We don't even know what it is.
Well, sometimes yes, sometimes we're not aware, and sometimes we are. So for example, if you've done some work on yourself, or he knows his insecurities, to some extent, I know my own insecurities, obviously, because I've done so much work on myself. But see, people, yes, they don't know. They have no idea what their insecurities are. And they discover it along the way. So everything you're getting triggered, that's an insecurity, coming up. And then, another one coming up, and so on. This is what life is. But so definitely when you discuss it, it's very important.
So the essence, the point now is discuss it before marriage. Too late for some of us. We would have discuss it. Let your value align with their value,
yes.
And then know that this person is not frivolous with money, not stingy, not stingy with money, or somehow. But we would have loved to keep going and going and going. We just have to bring it now to a wrap. I think what we're saying in essence is common pause. It's not absolute. It's very hard to do. And it's about honoring and respecting one another anyway, and trusting that you are okay. You're big enough and you're responsible enough to have a card that you can dispense. And I'm the same to the other partner. And to also know that we have commitment together. No one is higher than the other. Somebody was saying the other day, he says, honesty is the best policy, especially when money is in it.
100%, I agree.
Especially when money is in it. So know who you're dealing with. I think do your proud, assignments, with this person that you are engaging with. And prenuptial, now we know it's okay. No consequential effect. I think it sounds so big to me whenever I hear it. Like, oh, big. Where is for better or worse? But we're going to bring the show to an end. We just want to thank you, Jackie, for your insights every time and all the time, and your wisdom that you bring to the show. I know one person, at least we get something from here tonight and take it with them and use it to better their lives and their relationship. Thank you so much.
Say one thing. Can I just say one thing before I go?
Yes.
When you have that discussion, you need to be honest with yourself. So if they say something that does not align with your values or what you would, it's an absolute in your future, then here's where you make the hard decision. A lot of times we go in, we say I do with, a question mark there, a dash there, a little question mark there, and we say, I think I could fix that. I think I could change that. And then we unhappy for the rest of our lives, and we say, he's new before, so that's my wrap up.
Fantastic.
Beautiful, lovely. Thank you so much.
That's
Jackie.
so beautiful, Jackie. Heidi.
Yeah, thank you, Jackie, for coming to the show. We love having you here.
Anytime.
And I just want to end up by saying, these conversations are very useful, and it's very important that we are aware of what's happening. Like what Jackie said before, it's important to know what is important to me, and to be honest with myself, and to be honest, to my partner. Teach your children these concepts, by the way, because you need to teach children when they grow up to see what's happening in the family. They take baggages from parents, and they go with their own baggages to the relationship, and they don't, like, I'm teaching my girls every day in life. I'm teaching them things that no one in my life has ever said to me. The one thing I want to end up with today, Temi, is that I think that if this relationship that we're talking about is centered by God, we won't have problems.
That's right.
We won't have, faults and mistakes and arguments and flaws, like things that act like the relationship won't really fall apart because it's constructed on really strong strength and foundation. So build the foundation before we start, building a house and building the apartment or building whatever it is. The foundation is so important. And if God is in the foundation, it's, this house is going to be built on rocks and solid, and it's not going to fall apart, even if it is money and even if it is a common purse, because at the end of the day, it's just something materialistic, and the foundation will support whatever it is.
That's right.
That's right. Jesus is the center of it all. So you got to build your foundation on the rock rather than on the sand. We miss you, Liz. Liz is telling us then you end up marrying a project than a life companion. Liz, we miss you.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah. Good point.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to end the show, but I've got this that everybody you are attracted to, it's not everyone that is going to be compatible. So because you are attracted to them doesn't mean you're going to be compatible. Like we said, build your foundation on the rock and on the truth, and then work together as a unit. You should not go wrong if you do that. Foundation is really, really, paramount in this show. But we're going to have to say goodbye for now. And Liz, we miss you. We're going to have a chat to you very soon. We hope you get better very, very soon. And to all of us, as we say, our friends that are going through hard time, we feel you. We're praying for you. Our heart is gone to you, really. And we wish you a very, very quick bounce back by God's grace. So we're going to have to say goodbye for now. And we'll see you again this time next week. Jackie, I love you.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
So bye-bye for now. Bye.